Hello and welcome to this introduction to Dynamics 365 for manufacturing from Sonoma Partners. What we're going to do is we're going to start on the mobile phone, and I'm in my inbox for emails using the Outlook app. And the reason I'm doing that is if I get an email as a field seller for a manufacturing firm and I go and open that email up, using the Outlook app, I actually have access to Dynamics 365 right from the Outlook app itself. So I don't need to have the Dynamics 365 mobile app installed on my phone in order to do things like move an email from a customer from my personal intelligence of Outlook up to the collective intelligence of CRM. I can just open up that add-in from the email itself. And now right here from the email, I can see the related information in CRM for that contact. I can see when we last talked to her, the account that she works for, notes about her, also notes about her colleague if I wanted to toggle over to him. And I can move that email from my email inbox into Dynamics 365 using that track button. I can align it with an existing record, the account, or an opportunity, or I can create a new record, including an opportunity right from here. That opens up an opportunity form, and I can just go ahead and walk through that form to create a new opportunity from the Outlook app on my phone. So you can see I can just plow right through just creating that opportunity, and then I'd be able to open up that opportunity from Dynamics 365. If I flip over to the Dynamics 365 app, and I can either do that by going into my home screen and opening up the app, or right from here, using that add-in, if I get to that contact record here in Outlook, if you remember, it had the account related to it. So if I wanted to look at that account, I could just open that record right from here. Now I'm in the Dynamics 365 app. So this is the standalone app that you could have on Android or on iPhone or on a Windows Phone for Dynamics 365. This is separate from Outlook, separate from the add-in, and this basically is the toolbox. This gives you everything you need in order to manage your business, bringing basically all of CRM to your mobile device. What you're presented with first when you look at this app is what's called the personal assistant. And what this does is instead of you hunting and pecking for information, instead of you trying to search for information or scrolling through lists or drilling down through charts to get to information, it says, what is the most important thing for me to look at today? So you'll note if I have a meeting, it actually throws that right up on an action card in the relationship assistant. It also brings over data that's outside of CRM. So if I have data that's coming from Outlook, like this email request, I've got an email in my Outlook not tracked to CRM, and it's saying, hey, someone's requesting a meeting, or someone is looking for a new product, or someone mentioned a competitor. There are lots of ways that Dynamics CRM talks to your Outlook and presents that information to you in this relationship assistant. In addition to that, it can also highlight information like exception information. You missed an opportunity, deadline, you missed a task, or just reminders of things you have going on today. That can include custom activities. So if your manufacturing organization does things like sampler requests, you can have that show up here on a tile. You can also have other things show up on your agenda like tasks. So if there's a contract expiration you need to start worrying about, or if it's something like getting an NDA signed, those tasks show up here as well. And then your meetings for the day will show up. Now behind that personal assistant, which is an overlay on top of the app, if I close this out with the X, I am able to go ahead and see that account record that we saw in the Outlook add-in. So here on this account, I get basically the full account here. So high-level customer details, there's 4 different header tiles up at the top. I can see the primary contact here, the person I interact with the most, also the parent account. If I wanted to make a phone call, I can go ahead and call that just by tapping the phone number here. If I complete that phone call, it'll prompt me to sort of say, hey, why don't you fill in the notes related to that phone call? So it actually asks me to enter information if I make a phone call directly from here. The way that this app functions is I slide over to the right to see additional information. So behind just the high level details of this account, I can see the meat and bones of this account, phone number, website. Beneath that, some segmentation information, give me a sense of who they are. And then beneath that, I could have some data coming from ERP, high-level sales details that might help me figure out, how I want to sell into this account. Are they qualified or not? Do they do a lot of returns? Are there a lot of open deals? So on and so forth. I can see activities and notes related to this account. That includes things like pictures. So if I have an org chart, I can show that here. OneNote is embedded in here. So if I wanted to open up a OneNote for this, I could do so, and I could collaborate on that OneNote with people either in CRM or who don't have CRM licenses. I can see the folks who work with this account on our team, also the folks on their team, recent opportunities. If I have service cases related to this account, I can see that. Work orders, pretty much everything that you want related to this account, you can display on here, including order information and whatnot. So this is the Dynamics 365 mobile app. It basically gives you that toolbox, everything you want to see related to a particular record. You can pin these records to your home screen. So I have the account pinned here, and beneath it, I have the opportunity that I'm working on here. Those high-level metrics are here. I also have the business process flow. So if your organization says, these are the stages and these are the things that you need to do within those stages to lead us to success, that business process flow can show up on the mobile phone and it can walk you through the opportunity. Working the opportunity from here, I can leverage all the details related to that. Open activities, notes, including DocuSign integration showing up here. The stakeholders from that account, our team, our competitors, product information, all of the products that are related to that. Basically, again, giving you that full view of the opportunity, just like we had with the account. Now, if I was a manager and I didn't really use this app that much, and one of my sales team members wanted me to get a high-level overview of this account, all that team member would need to do, that field seller would need to do to send me a sort of page report about that is to go into these Word templates. Now, these are reports that you can create on your own. So you basically mail merge CRM data into a Word document, and then you can send it out. My sales team member could just basically generate one of these documents and then email it to me. Let me show you what that looks like. Here in the Word app, I now have this little report about this account, all the opportunities and contacts related to it. So as a field seller, I could just either text this or email this to my manager so that if they're going on a ride along with me to go see that account, they have all that data in their hot little hands. That means they don't necessarily need to use the Dynamics 365 app. I can just email them that data. Back on the home screen, which we were looking at before, not only do I have the pinned records, but I have my own dashboard. Here I have my sales pipeline. One of the nice things that I can do here is I can drill into this. So if I wanted to get more detail about my pipeline, I drill into that visualization. Here are the records that make up that pipe. Here's the pipe itself. If I want to look at the very bottom of the funnel in dark blue, select that, and then it shows me those records that are related to that. If I want to look at the top of the funnel, click that, and then there are those records. I can also switch the chart or the view here. So if I wanted to look at, instead of open opportunities, maybe won opportunities or closed opportunities, I could do that. If I wanted to change the visualization, so I wanted to look at maybe something like top customers, I could easily do that. So this isn't just pretty pictures. It also allows you to take action directly from the mobile app. Of course, on that dashboard, I can embed all kinds of other things. I can embed lists, additional charts. I can even embed Power BI tiles. One of the reasons that I bring that up is that Power BI is a great tool for mashing up data external to CRM. So if I wanted to have inventory data or data coming from ERP, I can embed it on this dashboard and I could have that pipe through Power BI. So let's take a quick look at Power BI while I'm on my phone. Power BI is a really great tool, especially for managers to get a whole sense of their business. And like I said, it's a great place for you to look at data beyond just CRM. It will allow you to have a dashboard that highlights data maybe coming from ERP, inventory management, mashing all of that up. And you get these really great visualizations. So you can have really quick, just scorecard type tiles. You can also have visualizations that have tons and tons of data. One of the other things I really like about this is the ability to make the system tell you things and make it visualize things for you. So here I can see that Kevin Yamashita, he's got about $800,000 in the pipeline right now across 8 deals. If I'm really bad at math and I want to know what his average deal size is, I can use this little Q&A. It looks like a text box in the lower left-hand corner to ask the robot in the sky a question. And as soon as you get to that virtual analyst, it starts to prompt you with some ideas of things you might want to look at. But if I wanted to look at average deal size for Kevin, as soon as I start typing, it's going to start telling me, hey, are you looking for this? And then I can continue to have this go through by different different drill downs. So here we go. Average deal size by full name. I'll ask it to show me that visualization. It'll show a graph, and then it will also sort of say, here are things related to that you might want to take a quick look at. So here I'm looking and I'm seeing that Kevin's doing fairly well. Amy is not doing so great, but one of these insights that came across is saying that there's going to be a bigger average deal size next quarter. Quickly take a look at that. It just generated that for me automatically. It's kind of cool. We're going to have a good next quarter. Excellent. If I wanted to do something like ping Amy and sort of tell her that she's doing poorly, I can annotate this chart and then I can share it with her and I can just sort of say like, look, I've noticed that your average deal size is kind of low. Maybe that's something that we need to talk about. So as a manager, using Power BI on my mobile phone just makes it really easy for me to collaborate with my team to gain those insights and even to have Power BI itself tell me insights. I don't have to actually have things configured on a dashboard. It just sends those to me. And here is that evil manager pinging Amy about what she needs to do and where she's kind of falling down on the job. So that's what we've stepped through on the manufacturing side so far related to mobile. Let's switch over to the desktop. Here on the desktop, I am here in Outlook online. You could also be on the desktop version of Outlook. And I've got the same capabilities that I had in the Outlook add-in. I could look at the record related to this contact in Dynamics CRM, but I also get some additional things. Like if I reply all here and I use the Dynamics add-in on here, I can see the info about the sender. I can also use an email template. So if I wanted to add an email template coming from CRM, so I'm a busy salesperson and I don't have time to type out an email, I can just use a template from CRM. I can add sales literature data. So if we have marketing information, if we have brochures or catalogs, add that. That's coming from CRM. So all of our marketing information, just have that available to me in Outlook. Tracking knowledge base articles. So if she asked a question about something, I can go ahead and add that to the email right here. And then I can follow this email as well. So I'll know when she opens this email, if she clicks a link, if she opens an attachment, all of those fun things. So the way that Dynamics 365 and Outlook interact with one another is actually really powerful, whether you're on the phone or the desktop. Speaking of CRM on the desktop, let's go ahead and take a look at this in the browser. So when you start off in Dynamics CRM in the browser, most people tend to start on a dashboard, which sort of answers the question, what is most important to me right now? What is my scorecard? What is my report card? Now, these dashboards, like many other things in CRM, can be built for you or by you. What that means is there are system dashboards up here that a BA in your department or a system admin, maybe in IT, can create and push out to different groups. You can see there are service dashboards, marketing dashboards, sales dashboards, and those are created for you. But if those don't meet your needs, you can always have your own dashboards. So you could go in and you could sort of say, I want to create a new dashboard. You'll choose what goes on there, charts, lists, widgets, iframes into other systems, all those kind of fun things. And then you create your own. So that for me, by me metaphor is present on dashboards. We'll also see it on lists and charts. It's present throughout the whole system. These dashboards are real-time reporting information. They are actionable. So from here, if I wanted to look at the top of the pipe and break that out by account just to see who our kind of most important customers are, BASF is kind of big here. I can do that. I can put whatever heck I want on a dashboard, goals, account lists, maybe by last contacted, revenue per month. Those Power BI tiles, we saw this while we are in the mobile app. So if you have data coming from other systems, you can pipe that in here. Opportunities by month, comparing this year and last year's sales. Now, in addition to being able to look at the data here and take some quick action on it, if I wanted to really get a sense of my pipeline and dig deep into it, I could always go behind this visualization to view the records that make up that pipe. So I've got the visualization that we saw on the dashboard over on the right-hand side. And then on the left-hand side, there's the data making that. I can use a filter similar to Excel to just sort of say, show me all of the opportunities that are hot and warm. Instead of 19, I will have 16. Chart changes because of that. If I wanted to dig into the chart and say, hey, within this develop phase, the second phase of our pipe, show me those records. I drill into that visualization. It goes down from 16 to 6, and then break that out again, maybe by account to see where most of our money is coming from. Again, a lot of BASF. So you can either drill down using the visualization or using the filters on here. And then once you get a view that you like, what you can do is you can save that as a personal view. So you can always come back to that list. So if you wanted to see, exciting opportunities in stage 2, you could save this as a personal view. That kind of builds up that metaphor, that paradigm again of for me, by me. So I've got the my views and I've got the system views here. So you as a user are empowered to create your own reports, your own sort of Excel replacements. And that's also true of the visualizations. You got system charts and my charts. If I wanted to create a new chart, that's as easy as saying, create a new chart. And then it's going to say, what do you want that chart to be about? I'll look at sales stage, and I want to look at that sales stage by something else. So you can quickly and easily create your own charts. Other ways that I can look at this data and leverage this data is I can export it to Excel Online, which means I can edit it inline. Note you can do this in CRM without going to Excel Online, but if you go to Excel Online, you have all kinds of fun goodies that you can use in Excel, which gives you some extra horsepower. You can also export this to a dynamic worksheet. And what's great about that is I could export this data once, and then when I open up that worksheet, maybe it's saved on my C drive, every time I look at it, I can always refresh it from CRM. So if I always wanted to look at my open opportunities pipeline, the Excel sheet we're looking at right now, and a month from now I wanted to see what this was like, I could save this Excel sheet on my C drive, SharePoint, even on an Outlook calendar, and then just refresh it from CRM to see the latest and greatest. If I really wanted to have a lot of horsepower behind that, I could actually take that chart and embed it onto a PowerPoint, and then I could always refresh that chart using PowerPoint, leveraging the data coming from that dynamic Excel sheet. One other smart thing that you can do related to that is if I take that opportunity list and I add it to a calendar invite. So here's my Outlook calendar, and if I open up that calendar invite, I can embed one of those dynamic Excel sheets into here. So if we have a weekly sales team meeting, and I, as a manager, don't want to have to send them a report every week about whatever we're going to talk about, I can just embed that Excel sheet directly to this recurring meeting. And then every meeting, they just open that up, go to Excel, and refresh the data. This can also be something that has security enabled. So if in your CRM environment, you as a manager, you see all the opportunities for all 5 of your salespeople, but those salespeople, when they go to Dynamics, they only see their stuff. That Excel sheet, when they open it up, is only going to show them their stuff. So if there are 100 opportunities in the system, I, as a manager, open that Excel sheet, I see 100 opportunities, same as I see in CRM. If one of my underlings opens it up, that same exact Excel sheet is just going to show them their 20 opportunities in Excel, just like it shows them only their 20 opportunities in Dynamics CRM. Flipping back over to Dynamics CRM itself, if I wanted to get around in the system, it's pretty easy to do. Navigation's up top. There are different modules within here, sales, service, marketing, field service, and whatnot. Each of these actually has different record types. So sales, a little bit different from what we see within the marketing. And then also, this is enabled to have really great interactions with a touch screen. So I'm going to use my finger real quick to jump to sales. and then I'll use my finger instead of the mouse to jump to, let's say, a list of accounts. And you're going to note up at the top, when I'm looking at these account lists, the navigation has changed. Instead of sales and dashboards, it now says sales and accounts. And as I drill into an account, the navigation kind of drills in even further. So I get some breadcrumbing going on here. So if I use the recently viewed items to jump to a specific account, you'll note that as I go through, sales, accounts, and then the record itself. So again, that breadcrumbing coming through. This is the first time that we're looking at a record within CRM in the browser, so let's just orient ourselves real quick. The first thing to note is that you can have different forms for different functions. So when a marketing person looks at this form, it might be different from a seller. In addition to that, the account form itself is broken up into these different chapters. You can jump to those different chapters right from the top. There's this scorecard up at the top, so the most important information related to a record is up at the top. And then out of the box, you get 3 columns. And typically what you have is the meat and bones of the record over on the left, the pane that sort of answers the question, what's going on with this record in the center, and then related data off to the right. The meat and bones here, some of this can be information that's just sort of standard phone number, website. Some of it can be your own segmentation information, some coming from ERP, and then there's also an embedded map here that can give you things like turn-by-turn directions. In the center, we've got the relationship pane. In that, you can see posts, and those can either come from the system or you yourself can create your own posts. Kind of think of this as sort of Facebook for your company, where you can interact with your coworkers on this account. You've got that relationship assistant we saw before, giving me updates related to this account. Activities, some of those are going to be coming from Outlook, so you can track up emails like we saw at the top of this. Notes in a OneNote. And then related data, contacts, of course, opportunities, recent cases, work orders, equipment tracking, whatever you really need to have in here, you can. The other thing that I'll note here is using a tool from Sonoma Partners called Dynamic Forms. You can make it so that this form really follows what you're doing, such that if this was a newer account and we didn't have a lot of information related to them, maybe we don't have all of these things filled out, I could sort of say, instead of seeing all of that stuff, because this is a newer account, the form's going to change. So there's far less detail on here because we've said that this is a brand new account. But if we have an established relationship with them, maybe that form looks a lot different. And so we have more chapters and we have more detail about that account in here. So think about the ways that you could use that. You could use that to make the form look different as the account relationship with your firm changes, or if you have different types of accounts. So let's say this was a vendor account versus a customer account, or a distributor account versus a customer account, that form could look significantly different. So just defines your use case. With these chapters, you can collapse them and then get to the next chapter. And within this account, I can do things like I can look at my order history either over all time, last 2 years, also change the chart to see what it is by month instead of quarter. See all of my recent orders or invoices. You could also have return data, whatever you need in here. Look at my sales performance over the last year or so. What products do they have? What sales have we made? Check out some forecasting information. So forecast by units, forecast by dollars. This is also using the editable grid that's a part of Dynamics. So if I wanted to change this real quick and make it so that this was 600 instead of 500, I can go ahead and make that change. I can also look at the forecast visually. So I can look at the forecasted units in orange or forecasted revenue in orange, and then the actuals that we have in blue. One final thing that I'll highlight here is Inside View, which comes free with Dynamics CRM Online. What this does is it brings in information from about 40,000 different sources. So you can get quick insights on this account. And it's all kinds of different things. It has news, contacts, social media information, gives you some industry level information, and also prompts you with some similar accounts. You can do some greenfield reporting. You can find contacts on here and you can bring them into the system. This one's been brought into the system. If you want to bring this one in, it's as simple as selecting it and hitting the plus button. It also allows you to see the family tree, so subsidiaries of this company and whatnot. And I can visualize that in CRM using the hierarchy view. So if BASF North America has a parent, you can see that here. If it has a subsidiary, you can see that here. If that subsidiary has subsidiaries, you can see that on here as well. And you can even have roll-up fields. So if the number of open deals or the open opportunity revenue was displayed on this card, you could make it so that, if there was $1 million on each of these lines, this would show 3 million. Let's quickly take a look at an opportunity. And one way I can do that is I can use the global search here. So let me search for BASF and look at all of the things related to that in the system. So using the sort of global search here, I could drill into just opportunities. I could say which ones were modified by when, who owns them. There's a lot of slicing and dicing I can do here. If I want to look at just opportunities, I want to select the one I want to look at. I could go ahead and scroll through all of these and just get to the one that I need. Or again, remember I can use that pinned record concept up at the top. On an opportunity, you'll note that this record looks a little different from the account record we looked at. It has different forms. It has the chapters, the header tiles, and then the meat and bones, what's happening, and related data. But here is the process flow UI, and that looks a little new. We saw it in the mobile app, but this is our first time taking a full gander at this in the desktop. The business process flow answers the question, really, what is the most desirable outcome and how do we get there? So if you as a manager have a business process and you want your folks to follow it, you could sort of say, the way we win opportunities is we go lead, qualify, quotation, and approve in CSAT. And within those different stages, they have different steps that they need to complete to move forward. If they don't do those steps, then the system tells them they can't do it. Additionally, this can branch. So if I were to ask for a big discount, you're going to note there will be a new stage in between quotation and approve in CSAT once I save this. And there it is, discount approval. So there's branching enabled here. Additionally, you can switch processes. You can have different processes for different types of customers, different types of sales, different geos, so on and so forth. On the opportunity, I can really track whatever I want. You'll note one of the things I like about this is it can bring over data from other records. So here's data coming from the account. This is not native to the opportunity itself. This is kind of a little portal, a little window into the account, so I can make decisions on this opportunity based on that. The relationship pane is in the center, so my posts, activities, notes, and OneNote are here. I can track the stakeholders and the other folks from their end on here. Same with our folks, choosing their role. Track competitors, which includes some competitor reporting that comes out of the box with Dynamic CRM. So I can list their strengths and weaknesses. I can see what opportunities, open, closed, and won, loss in a list or on a handy little chart here. And of course, on the opportunity itself, if I wanted to add products in, I can do that right in line here. That's an inline editable grid. The other thing you can do that I think is helpful is you can generate quotes directly from Dynamic CRM. So I can have as many quotes as I want aligned with this opportunity. So if you need to revise drafts on a quote, you can have those revisions in here. I also think it's helpful that you have product suggestions here. So if you are selling a product, it can suggest to you the cross-sell, the accessory, upsell, substitute, for this particular opportunity. You can generate quotes from here, and you can use the DocuSign integration in order to get those signatures. When those quotes are sent out via email and DocuSign, you have a note that's associated here that has the quote and then the signed quote here. Makes things just all that simpler in order to generate quotes for you. So within here, I can have my product catalog to generate the products that are needed from that quote. That product catalog can come from ERP. I basically have everything here within CRM to run my sales organization. And if I wanted to do some additional reporting using Power BI on the desktop, I have that available to me as well. So let's just take a quick look at that. Here I've got a sales manager dashboard. We saw this when we were on the phone. So here it is here within the desktop version, all kinds of information I can track here. One of the things outside of Q&A I really like to look at is the insights. So if I look at the one revenue and I want to get related insights here, again, I can have the system just generate that So that was our deeper dive into manufacturing in Dynamics 365. If you have additional questions about how manufacturers could use Dynamics 365, and including using it for service or field service, feel free to reach out to us at sonomapartners.com. Thank you.